Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, da doo-dah day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sunday night's Last Man Standing. I'm Dan Hollifield, and let's just say Stupid O'Clock tonight was well worth watching. Go back and watch it. It was fun, as it usually is, and we covered a broad range of topics, as we normally do. A lot of stuff that you would not have thought to look up before was available from first-hand witnesses who had served at Fort Knox and had kept in touch with further developments as the place evolved from their time in service. But with me tonight, we've got Mike Jimmy and we've got Aunt Donna. And Joe Dog has promised to come in and tell us a bedtime story, but I guarantee you it's not going to be as good as mine. So,
Good morning.
how y'all doing?
Waking up. That's all. Actually, I alarm for this.
Well, well, let me just hope there's something better than Folgers in your coffee cup.
Yeah, this is Cannes Gunning.
Okay, the good
It's
stuff.
it's Dutch. If it's
Well, I
any,
imagine that, but
okay, so the only coffee that I've had in America, brew at least, was Native Gold, Indian Gold, something like that.
mhm.
It's been like 6 years. That was awful. Like that had no flavor at all. At least this
Yeah.
has flavor.
I will understand. I will understand. We do have a somewhat limited pattern as to coffee flavored coffee, although devotees of a certain mermaid representative company Seems to have lots and lots and lots of flavors of stuff that I would not consider to be coffee.
Yes.
We're a good old Folgers household.
Uh, I am quite fond of the companies Maxwell House and JFG.
Maxwell House is a good brand, but
JFG is what got coal miners out of bed and on their way to their jobs in East Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Appalachian coal mines. It's made in Knoxville, Tennessee, and let's just say if you brew it right, you can strip the paint off a battleship at 50 yards, just waving a cup of it around. It's that stout. But
that's the thing.
yeah.
The coffee that I had in the United States woke me up. It woke me up so well that after a little while, I had shaking hands because of how high my blood pressure was.
That's good coffee.
Oh no, it was good coffee. It did its purpose.
Yep.
But if you want something nice, you don't drink American coffee.
That's all I got.
I know, it sucks. I'm so sorry for you guys.
Oh no. No. I like I said, I prefer JFG, and if I can't get JFG, I'll drink Maxwell House. Other brands are available. Depends on your personal choice. Depends on how you drink it. I've been drinking black coffee since I was about 9. No sugar, no cream.
I should send you guys a bag of Dutch coffee.
like I
well,
say, Folgers
if you
is
can
a
afford it. Now,
Folgers is a
half of
good
you
brand.
back live from Cora. I might as well just send it along.
Folgers has the best instant coffee. It is actually in like a tea bag.
oh yes, I have had that.
If you have instant coffee, that's the way to go. But
Now I will admit, I have had an undeserved prejudice against Folgers ever since I took a vacation to Panama City, Florida one time and bought an unopened jar of Folgers Instant
Oh boy.
at a local store. Got back to the hotel room, woke up the next morning, opened the jar, and the store had it on the shelves so long it had grown mold across the top.
I don't remember Folgers instant like that.
It's the store's fault. It's not Folgers' fault. But the image got stuck in my mind because I was college age, and I have not been able to objectively appreciate Folgers coffee since that time. It's not Folgers' fault. It's the store that had the old, out of date coffee.
When I was working
I hear
for
the ping. Here's Joe Dog.
Hey.
Yeah. When I was working for Kelly Temporary Services, I was sent out to Quaker Oats to work in their office. And of course, when you go on break, the whole office goes on break. And although I was making good money with Kelly, still couldn't afford the coffee in the break room. But I could get hot water for free, so I discovered the Folgers bags. So I take that, and you can get 2 nice strong cups of coffee out of one of those bags, and it's pretty good.
That's not too bad, no.
Okay. Yeah.
But you know the best thing that goes in a cup of coffee? Banana pudding moonshine.
I started to say Kraken, but
Yeah, no, I got coffee infused cracking. Just don't put the rum chata in it.
You learned that one the hard way. I'm sorry to say. I remember that night.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I will let you live that down eventually.
Oh,
Um,
it came up already today during the memorial, and these
you're
people,
kidding. Somebody else
they,
remembered it?
oh yeah,
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
and of course they got to see the actual goblet that I used. I mean, it's a fishbowl goblet that it takes both hands to pick up,
Yes,
and I
well,
drank.
it takes both hands to handle a whopper. Yes. Um,
Yes, that's what she said. And I had two of those during the green room one night. Yeah.
and they're not small.
And Aunt Donna was fly. In fact, when Carl took me to bed, I jumped from the door and landed in the bed. But yeah,
Luckily,
the only reason though that I woke up with a headache the next day was I got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and his door was
kabong!
open and about that far away from the door. Yeah, oh yeah. I hit that sucker, so I still have a knot, and that's what been what last year.
Yeah,
Ouch.
I still have the knot.
phrenologists would love you, but they'd probably misdiagnose you.
Well, that's
Um,
only my fifth concussion.
this year. Um,
Now, come on. Three of them was before I was 4 years old, and I made the mistake of telling my husband that, and he goes, "That explains so much."
no, it doesn't explain anything really. Now, one of the things I have to say about coffee before we let Joe Dog tell his story, there is this thing called JFG Restaurant Blend that a lot of the restaurants like Shoney's, and this is before Waffle House was ever invented, and uh, truck stops and things like that would buy preferentially, and it is so much better than the JFG that you can get in a store nowadays. This is I'm talking about
Mm,
1960s to 1970s blend of coffee. You cannot get it anymore that I know of. I don't own a restaurant. I might have, if I did, I might be able to get hold of it, but I'm betting it's not the same.
It's
That
not.
No.
oh, that is it's like oh my God. The only thing that I have to compare it with is you've been out partying for 12 hours. It's 3 a.m. You go to a Waffle House and order strong black coffee. They set a cup down in front of you. They pour the coffee. You put a spoon in it to stir, and the spoon stands up.
Like it should.
yeah.
Yes.
It's called Royal Cup now.
Oh, okay.
Of course, Waffle House has their own brand now, but what you're talking about now is Royal Cup,
Okay.
which is a vendor that uses. You got to use to get Royal Cup. You have to lease the coffee maker from them, from the company, and it's a
Oh,
bun.
okay.
It's a bun coffee maker that has the warmer on top.
Yeah. And a lot of places have that, so
Yep. I miss my bun. I love my bun coffee maker. Joe Dog has a story to tell.
Yeah,
yes.
it was one of Jimmy Fallon's pranks that he had a Maisie. Oh, what's her last name? Played Arya Stark.
Yeah, we know who you're talking about. I
Yeah.
just can't remember her last name. Maisie
She
Williams.
Maisie Williams. Yeah, she was on there, and there, Jimmy was, trying to talk her into feeling, dropping something. And he goes, I can't. I've been sworn to secrecy and all this. And he goes, well, what is some of your favorite things about filming this year? And she named off this and this. And she says, and when Arya died, it was really. And Jimmy's face went. And she went. And started looking out at the crowd and like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? And he goes, what? Really? What? He goes, and she goes, you can erase that or
Cut it or something.
Yeah. He goes, we can edit that out. We can start all over and, reintroduce you and all that. And she's like,
Yeah, sure. The best way to recover from that is to just look out at the audience and go, gotcha.
No.
Yeah.
She got up and ran off stage crying. I mean, full-blown tears.
Oh,
Jimmy runs back around the corner and they're back there for like 5 seconds. And then they both hopped out and went, April Fools.
Wow.
I mean, the whole audience was like, oh God, we
got caught.
Yeah. Well, when she did it, the whole audience, I mean, you could hear the collective. I mean, there wasn't, how usually you hear laughter or you could hear the air
Silence.
suck out of the audience like, oh my God, did we just hear that?
And then a pin drop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's it, guys. I am going to bed.
Okay.
Good night.
See you, Joe Dog.
Y'all have fun. Stay out of trouble.
No promises.
And
I'm sober now, so I have to.
what's the fun in that? Joe Dog, thank you very much for having me on Stupid O'Clock. And,
Well, thanks for putting up with me in here. All right. And Chris, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
All right.
Dun.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
And where is it? There we go. Yeah. Yes, I want to leave the studio. Bye.
No, I was very lucky. My best friend April came and stayed the whole day, and I basically parked on the couch and drank a whole bottle of butterscotch schnapps.
What a
Only
life.
broke once.
No, he's worried about. Oh, Chris, I will talk to you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is going. Oh.
Yeah. No.
What am I going to have to fix now?
Well.
No. When it comes to Hallowcon, Joe Dog's the idea man.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is the fixer.
I figured. I mean, we've had some
Whatever Joe Dog fucks up, Chris is going to repair.
Fortunately, he's very good at that.
Oh,
no.
Believe me,
Lots of practice.
If I threw a convention, I'd want Chris by my side, fixing everything I got wrong. And I would trust him implicitly because he does exactly what the job title implies.
And nobody at the con ever knows something was wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's the invisible sellotape that holds everything together when it's been ripped apart a million times.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a fire, Chris puts it out. If there's an emergency, Chris deals with it. When Joe Dog drank,
Chris
put me to bed.
He can't do that anymore for health reasons because
Hmm.
his liver will not stand up to it anymore. But and Joe Dog had a little bit too much. I recommended that Chris buy a wheelbarrow and put it on the Hallowcon budget. And that particular night, Chris goes, "Should have bought your wheelbarrow you suggested about 4 years ago." Yeah. Um,
Yeah. Carl says he hopes he's still got his wheelbarrow around because we're staying for the dead dog, and Carl's expecting to be needed. I'm like, does that mean I can't do that?
we can buy 2 wheelbarrows.
I'm just sorry, the Dutch guy isn't there going to be there to
We
pull
are
you back to your
too.
room.
We are too. I mean, we were so looking forward to it, but we understand
Yeah,
the
no,
money ain't there. You can't do nothing about it. It's not your
no,
fault. It's
everything. Like
it's the
there's so many
it's
things going on, and I
the
hate
state of
that.
the world is not optimum.
Yeah, no.
Um,
And it, like looking at just the plane getting there, that's already 4,000 euros for Luce and I for
round trip.
the round
Mhm.
trip and the hotel. You
Hmm.
know, and then you got to look
Oh,
at
and
traveling.
the hotel is only like
I know, but we would be going for 2 weeks.
no. I'm comparing it to the round trip ticket. The
Oh yeah, no, it's
airline
about
is
the same. Like
no the airline tickets are one thing. The hotel is really cheap,
yeah, no, it
Only
is.
for the con, though, I think.
huh? Only for the con. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
and they were going to stay for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Now
yeah.
that's a whole nother dimension to the equation. But
Very true, Chris. Very
Yeah,
true.
no, like there's always next year, but there's a couple of things going on that I am not at liberty to say yet.
oh,
Um,
just wait till Steven Spielberg licenses the rights to Cora, and you'll be
yeah,
able to
no.
you'll
I'm
be able to
animating the
take a
thing
flying
myself.
saucer to anywhere. Um,
No, but like there's just a couple of things going on that will open up at the end of the month or next month. But
mm,
yeah, like besides that, and besides just not
well,
having the money, there's more going on.
well, we will hold out hope because it is only May, and there's a lot of time between now and the end of October. So
That is true.
if things change in a positive direction, perhaps we will be
Oh
blessed
yeah,
with the
no.
pleasure of your company.
There's
If
always next
not,
year.
you know, yeah,
There's
there's
next year.
always next year, and we got you online in all the various venues. So, it's not quite the same as being able to sit down and buy you a beer, but it'll have to do.
Yeah, no, and then like that's the thing. Like the plan is still there. It's just I'm looking at it realistically and I go later
Yeah, yeah.
because
It's
yeah,
once all the factors are into place. At the moment, they don't look positive.
no,
Later
um,
on, things might improve. Later on, they might. We're
no,
still holding out. We're still holding out hope that things will improve.
there's a couple of things that really make me go, this is not the year. Um, and I'm gonna be honest about that. Like that's how it is. But like next year, I'm gonna try my best.
Well,
And
whenever
next year you have your license.
This is true, but I won't have it for a complete year yet. Maybe. So maybe. It depends
If you,
on how fast it goes a year.
mm,
But
yeah.
I'm not familiar. Do y'all drive on the left side of the road or the right side of the road?
We've
no.
done this.
We
We've
drive on the
gone
right
through
one.
this before, and
Well, my memory is Swiss cheese.
only
Um,
England and Australia that are
Yeah.
that are
crazy.
backwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
it makes sense that
you
Oz
drive on the correct side of the road.
Exactly.
and since Oz is made up mostly of Brits, it's understandable that they're wrong, just like Britain is.
Oh, I'm sorry. You drive on the right side of the road. The steering wheels are on the left side of the car,
Yeah.
and the girl's skirts are still too long. Ah, damn it. Um,
What, in the Netherlands? Hell no. We invented porn.
No, I think that was a. I think the Vikings invented the porn.
No, but like, um, I've seen
well,
programs from
wait
the
a minute. Wait a minute.
70s
Have you
that,
been to the Netherlands? How non-Viking do you think they are? I mean,
Well, we went into the Netherlands and taught them.
no, it's, I've seen, I literally earlier last week, I saw a program from the 70s, um, from the Netherlands here that was just pretty much a news story right on television, about a guy, um, being so horny that he couldn't contain himself, literally. It was a skit, but you gotta keep in mind this was early 70s that this
Hmm.
was a thing. Like he was driving around in an old bath, and making suggestions towards women and stuff randomly on the street, stopping his car and driving back because a girl was wearing just a skirt. Yeah,
I
no,
am
It's the
I am
70s.
so glad that I remembered that this was being recorded. Ah,
I'm
I
kid.
all I almost committed a mortal sin, um, mentioning someone I shouldn't. Um,
Ooh boy.
Hmm.
oh, I can poke fun at people, but I prefer to do it in a way that doesn't embarrass them unduly.
It depends on
And
who it is.
in this
True.
Oh, hi,
instance,
baby.
it would have been uncalled for.
Which one was
So,
it?
hey, I'm trying to be a gentleman.
Yeah.
No, uh, don't laugh, Donna. I'm trying to be a gentleman.
We're trying to be nice, okay?
I
I
don't know about that, but
didn't
I'm trying
say
to be a gentleman.
anything.
It's hard to be a nice gentleman, but it's easy to be a gentleman. Um,
This is true.
You're always gentle, Dan. Oh, he's doing that noise. So we had quite a lot of people here today. The cats were mad because we took chairs out of the library and put them in the living room so people could sit around and talk.
um, I
Charco was mad because she didn't get her eggy at noon, her egg yolk.
Of course. How dare you, mother?
I did want to ask about how uh, Mike dealt with everything, because I mean,
He he did very well. He brought
good, good.
he brought Julie over. They came up last night and stayed in a local motel. He and before they went and checked in, he brought Julie over so she could spend one last night under my roof. Um,
You might want to explain that to Mike Jimmy.
Yeah, because I'm missing context right now.
my best friend and soul sister Julie was killed in an automobile accident,
Oh.
thanks to local police. It was a high speed chase, which I feel they didn't need to do because they knew the perpetrator, they knew where she worked, they knew where she lived,
Hmm.
they knew her boyfriend, they knew where he lived, where he worked. They didn't need to be chasing this woman.
Yeah, exactly.
and she hit Julie head on. Fortunately, it was in from what I heard about later about the condition of the Jeep she was driving, and she died instantly.
Mm-hmm.
She hit two other cars before her car rolling over four times and killing herself, which was probably good because I might have hunted her down.
Yeah.
Julie's would have been her 66th birthday was last Tuesday the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike chose this Saturday to hold a memorial. She was cremated, and we had this nice little setup with her cremains. Um, we belong to a Star Trek fan club, fan club, and the Star Trek Marines. So we had two different flags um, around the remains. We had a slideshow with pictures of her. Um, uh, they don't call it the Federation. I forget what they call it, but they posthumously promoted her to a three-bar general and had sent the insignia in time that we had that on the table. But yeah, he brought her remains over last night so that she'd have one last night at our house because they used to come over all the time. If we had a meeting or something over in our house, they would come over on Friday night and stay until Sunday morning. Uh, yeah, it was his insurance agent showed up from Springfield. I mean, we're talking about a 3-hour drive. And this woman came up. She has been fantastic in trying to get the insurance passed through so he could get another vehicle. Right now, he's
Mm-hmm.
a vehicle. Um, he has moved down to Springfield to live with his brother and sister. And his brother brought him up and stayed with them. Um, he and I got pretty well schnockered on butterscotch schnapps. Somebody waited on. Of course, he's pretty much disabled. He was in a rehab center, and she was going to go see him. In fact, the day she got killed,
Oh,
and
that's awful.
I'm like,
It
he
is
called.
it is one
Yeah.
of the most tragic stories I have ever heard. And the worst thing is it's real life.
Yeah.
hmm Uh, I get this call at 2 o'clock in the morning, and of course, I've got a special ringtone for her, and it goes off, and I'm sitting up expecting to hear Julie's voice saying we'd lost Mike, and
And
it
it's
was
the
the
other way
other way
around.
around. Him telling me, like, and at the time he had just been moved into the rehab center, and I'm like, okay, I'll be over there in the morning, and he's like, no, nobody's ever getting killed coming to see me. In beginning of February, I get this text. It's like, when are you gonna come to see me? Like, I don't even know where the hell you are. You gotta tell me that first, you know. But yeah. So he's with his brother. His brother and sister are helping take care of him. He's got very specialized diet because he's got diabetic diet. He's got a uh, heart
Mm-hmm.
diet. He was lucky to have her, Julie. She was a nurse. She was a gourmet cook. He made a joke afterwards when we'd gone to visit him about, well, maybe I'll just move in with you guys. And if you've heard about how I cook, my look was, who the hell's gonna cook for you? Because my husband is happy with hamburgers every night if he wants. Once in a while I'll cook a chicken breast for him, maybe some pork patties, but I am not a great cook. And, and I'm thinking of this specialized diet and everything Julie tells me that she's doing, where I'm like, I can't do that. I don't know that stuff. Fortunately, he was just joking because he knew I didn't know that stuff.
Well,
So
sometimes you just have to do with less.
yeah,
But in other words, everything today went really well, and everyone had a good memorial, not service, but
yeah.
remembrance.
His brother and Carl kind of looked after Mike. My other best friend April was here all day with me, and like I say, I kind of just parked my butt on the couch, and I had already brought in the food and everything. Of course, it's a Viking household. You go away from my house hungry or thirsty, that's your own fault.
Um,
But yeah,
uh,
I killed a bottle of butterscotch schnapps, and he took care of the other one, which was not full when he got it. But I think he drank his was Coke. I took mine straight with ice.
and Michaela and Dawn were there as well.
Yeah, Michaela had met Don. Michaela had met Mike and Julie with some other open house things that we had had. She had come down and visited then, so she knew Mike and Julie. And Don kind of came along for the ride because it's a when Carl drives it, it's a 3 hour drive to Peoria. When Michaela does it, it's two.
Yes, but Michaela only has one tire touching the ground the entire time.
And she's got a brand. They had to get her a new vehicle. She's got a brand new vehicle, so I think she did it in an hour and a half today.
Oh dear.
Like men, she wears out vehicles so fast. Oh, she's going to give me hell for saying that now.
Yep.
Well, I
Oh,
can't say anything because it's like, okay, when we went down to Florida the first time, Carl had this little old Horizon, floor on the floor, which at that time my knee was still good, I could drive. And we're cruising down the interstate in Alabama, and I'm like, does your car always shake at this speed? And Carl's like, it's never gotten over 55 before. This is the first time hearing it.
this is the first time it's ever hit 90, honey.
I was only doing 75, I think, maybe 80.
Sure you were.
The Omni was just doing this.
It was a Dodge Omni. I mean, seriously, it's a Volkswagen Rabbit with a new name.
And then later we got the Horizon, which is just we had the Omni and the Horizon, both same color. I mean, they're twins.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the Horizon was just a Dodge Omni with better shocks. Hopefully,
Kind of.
kind of.
But like I told him, he said, you have to remember what I was driving when we met.
A Model T.
No. Ford car. It was a Ford car. But I had the British version. The American version is very sedate, very sedan. I cannot think of what kind of car it was. But it was the British version, so it was a little sports car.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I've got to go down the hall. I will be listening. Don't misbehave. No, wait a minute.
No
I'll be
promises.
listening.
So
Misbehave as much as you like.
There.
I'm like, you knew what I was driving when we met, when we got married, which we gave up when we had to put new tires on it. The only tires that would go on it are Michelin, French, $400 a tire.
Yeah.
American tires would not fit
Nope.
because
they're
they were
mediums.
metric rims and not standard.
Mm-hmm.
It costs less to change it to American rims and put American tires on it than it did for one tire.
Not surprised.
Yep. And then after that, I got the little Ford Pinto. That little sucker could move too. And no, I was not afraid of backing into anything.
I'm actually starting driving lessons next weekend. I finally had my theoretical exam and I made it finally.
Escort.
Yeah.
Yeah, escort. Thank you, Chris. I had a Maverick. Those were pretty nice cars. But yeah, because my mother-in-law got an Escort later, and I'm going, that's not what I used to drive. That's an old lady's car. My little Escort was a sports car. And it looked nothing like the Escorts made here in America or supposedly made in America. This is a nice little car. Yeah, I'm a gal, but I'm a bit of a car nut.
I mean,
I guess-
there's worse things to be a nerd about. I mean, we're nerds. I mean,
Yeah. Well, and somebody said it again today. Like, you think like a man, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I shop like a man.
this is
This
a
is
good
what I
thing.
need. This is what I need. This is where it is at the store. Get it and get the hell out. I do not like shopping. My poor mom wanted a girl. She got me.
I can think of worse life sentences. Ah,
Well, as I told her once, she wanted a little girl so bad she named me Donna, which means lady. In fact, Carlene means perfect, so she named me Lady Perfect. And I'm like,
belladonna, yes, a beautiful lady, which is
I'm like,
also
yeah.
a poisonous herb.
And just remember that.
I do always keep that uppermost in mind, believe me.
I told her one time, I said, you may not have made a lady out of me, but at least I'm a gentleman.
Ooh, boy.
Okay, I will admit you're a better smartass than I am.
I learned from the best. When she was in the home, she's like, where'd you learn that? I'm like, you taught me that. Oh, no, I never did that.
Oh, yes. What you didn't teach me, Daddy did.
She was the best double entendre person I have ever met.
Challenge accepted. Ah,
And then there was a time when she told me I was as stubborn as my father. And I'm like, that's funny. He tells me I'm as stubborn as you are. And she looked at me and she says, well, you're doubly screwed then, aren't you?
I'm sorry. I would have had to look back with a straight face. Well, one of us is.
Well, there's nature.
And you know I would not talk back to my mama like that because she'd whoop me.
Oh,
And
no,
not in a fun way either.
Mm-mm.
no, she knew better because she had to admit, yeah, I learned a lot from my mama.
So, a couple of weeks ago, I went to Glasgow, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How was it?
Awesome.
Oh, good. Tell us.
So, Luz had booked a concert there, and that's why we had a complete vacation, because she booked the concert first and then went to look for how we would get there and stay there.
Okay.
So we had an adorable 1-bedroom apartment, and yeah, she took me to Sabaton.
Whoa.
Yeah, in a absolutely insane. But lineup: Lordy, Baby Metal, and then Sabaton. Shows out of my ass, like holy crap. Yeah, that was awesome. And like Luz right now, I don't know why, she has a very sensitive nose. On the way back, we saw all these guys, right, with giant backpacks and a bright red shirt saying 4M, the Fourth Musketeer.
Mm-hmm.
They apparently had been on a wonderful 4-day hike with a whole group of 136 of them across the highlands,
Mm-hmm.
and they hadn't showered yet. The airplane was full of them.
Ooh.
And here and there you had a couple like Lucy and I.
Oh, okay. Yep. I'm getting the point now.
Oh boy.
You're very good at drawing a picture even when you're doing it with words.
Yeah, no, the bright red color was a warning sign. Oh boy. That was something else.
Richie!
Hey!
Hey, Rich.
Howdy.
Couldn't sleep?
Just got back from Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, that is a very
Hey.
good reason to be out.
Hope it was a good game.
Yes, we survived.
Well, that doesn't always mean it's a good game, but
Losing is fun, trademark.
And Chris, my mother used to say that they do TNT up in little packages for a reason.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, Chris, from now on, use small rather than shorter, because that is a gender neutral comment.
I can proudly say that in 28 years of living at home, I only made my mother mad one time. And
Oh, that's rookie numbers. You got to up your average
I
here.
was going to say, hold on.
no, because I knew better. I've seen her mad at other people. I knew better. And it was both my dad and I that made her mad that day. She had to work. He didn't. I was supposed to make dinner.
Uh-oh.
I drove into town to pick up some bread, and the truck broke down. And it
yes.
took me 3 hours to get back home. I had just got back home when she got home. Took all my money getting the truck fixed. A friend fixed it for free, but for the parts. So I didn't get the bread. Supper wasn't made. Dad didn't take the trash out.
Oh,
She didn't.
okay.
She didn't say a word, and the windows on the second floor vibrated. Yeah.
Mama wasn't happy, so nobody was happy.
That's a good summing up right there. Yes, indeed. Um,
Yeah.
oh.
At least I had an excuse. Dad just
Bugger.
slept all afternoon.
I just
Well.
remembered I did not plan anything to cook for Lindsay tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Are
technically
there
for
any
you, isn't it
schools
today?
open?
Yes, by 50 minutes. No, by an hour and 50 minutes.
I was going to say it's today for us, too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I did not plan on anything to cook for Lindsay
No, it didn't.
for
Sunday meal.
Sunday. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. No, no, no. She made us a fantastic queso dip with chips tonight, and I had a little bit, and she had put so much uh, uh, fried bacon in there, just crumbled up fried bacon. I got full in no time just from chips and dip, and I'm going, what the? Okay, I'm sorry. I got to put this in the microwave. It'll be there. Um, and she's got the entire small crock pot that I got her, the teeny tiny crock pot, full of more for later on that can be reheated. And I'm going, what am I gonna do today for her tea, which is, 4 in the afternoon meal, not just a cup of tea.
This
Oh,
is
no.
true.
And my only hope for survival is that she sleeps till about 7 p.m. because she stayed up all night last night watching the coronation.
Ah,
Ugh.
Because she is British. It's her monarch, and she's conflicted about the news reports, but she's very happy for the change in Regina to Regent,
yeah.
because it is what it is. And she told me just a couple of hours ago, I may not live to see the next coronation unless Charles has a whole lot of health problems that nobody has been talking about. Because he
Or
may live
get
for a
sick
good
of
long
crap
time.
and just says, you know what? I'm done. I'm abdicating. Billy, take it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Charles is 74, and he's always said he didn't want to be king, so it's hard to tell.
well, it doesn't matter whether he wants to be or not. He was trained for this for life.
Yeah.
True. That
And
England's known another king that was trained and said, I'm out of here.
I'm going to go marry this divorcee. Yes,
Don't care if you like it or not.
yeah. Edward Fourth, was it?
Scissor hands?
I'm sure that's not what his American wife called him. Something hands, but not scissors. No. And now I can't remember. I can't remember her name, and I should, because this is my history.
I was gonna say. Yeah, but our old mind's not doing
Edward,
it.
was it Edward V? Maybe.
That's true, Chris. she has always wanted this.
Well, yep, and I will say, and Lindsay was pissed off about this. People were dissing on Camilla about being the mistress, but no. After Diana died, Charles married Camilla. She's no longer a mistress.
Mm-hmm.
She's a wife. So, hey, it's within the rules. Seriously, they rolled the saving throw and got a 20.
Well, she was probably the kind of wife that Diana could never be, because I gotta admit, I gotta think that she took hold of Charles by the shorts and said, "This is how you're gonna act." And Diana was too genteel for that. And sometimes that's what you gotta do with some guys.
This is
I,
true.
I had the exact opposite impression, but either way works.
Yeah.
I mean, history is still history. Uh, what we interpret it as is immaterial. It is what it has become.
Yeah.
Not it is what it is, but it is what it has become. Um,
Okay.
Chris, I'm not flashing that up.
No.
That's. I would like to not get Joe Dog banned from YouTube. So, oh,
Yeah.
pretty kitty.
People are gonna be what people are.
Yeah,
Hey, Shelby, those boobs, baby.
and
Mine, mine haven't forgiven me yet.
There she is.
it doesn't matter whether one is royalty or not. Your life is your own.
Hmm.
Make the best of it you can. Grab whatever you can get to have a good life, and don't feel guilty about any of it. Unless you've harmed someone who didn't deserve it. I mean, seriously, if your husband's a mafia mob boss and you go for something and he winds up in prison, hey, that's not harming someone unneedfully.
No.
But if you are in a position to where you get promoted into a job you've been trained for life, and you have lost your ex or your present wife at that time through tragic circumstances, and you remarry,
Yeah.
ain't nobody got any right to diss either of you for that. It doesn't matter what went on before or who was diddling who. Um, it's it's no longer relevant. The
No.
present is the present. Just try and make a great future.
So, regarding Shelby,
Yes.
with Luce and I planning to live together, Luce is highly allergic to cats. So, if she stays here for 2 or 3 nights, she is going to be clogged up and feel miserable. So, with pain in my heart, I'm going to give her to a different, beautiful home. Yeah, we tried, and it's not helping.
Oh,
Like,
crap. I'm sorry.
yeah, no. And there's a special kind of food, but Shelby doesn't react too well to it either. So
Ah,
yeah, like
damn, that's horrible. You're gonna have to give up Shelby for loose.
yeah. So
I can see the necessity in still
It hurts.
be, yeah,
Mhm.
I can
But
regret the necessity at
But
the same time.
Dan, please. Okay.
Huh?
my some very good friends of mine who are crazy cat lady and husband immediately offered to take her in. We're together with their other three cats. So there are going to be four of them. Shelby loves being around other babies, even though she doesn't know how to handle them because she's been alone for 6 years now.
Mhm.
So yeah, it sucks, but she's going to be in a very nice new place.
And you can visit.
And I can visit because we're actually going to move to that side of the country. Um, and probably the same town even. So yeah, we should be fine
That's good.
because we can get a 3, 4, 5 bedroom house rather than apartment
Mhm.
for the same price I'm paying here.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah, on average, I'm at the 30th place, and like once I start reacting to houses, I'm gonna go up in the algorithm.
Mhm.
So by the end of the year, I should be able to move there together with Luz.
Good.
Well, I wish you the best of luck in both situations.
It's how things are going.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have to play the cards you're dealt.
Yeah, and it's not fun, but there's there's ups and downs to everything,
Mhm.
and like I'd rather get things done now and planned out than at the end go, oh right, this thing,
Mhm.
and especially if that thing is a living being like your cat, because my baby is everything to me.
Mhm.
So yeah, this
Yeah,
was
but Luce is also everything to you.
oh yeah, no, like there's no denying that,
I
but
mean,
that's yeah,
it's not either or. I mean, they're both very
yeah,
important,
exactly,
but
Yeah.
health reasons. Yeah, I mean, you've got to make a decision, and
yeah,
it's not a easy decision, but you're providing for the best for both.
yeah, like
Yeah.
So I understand. I would hate to be put in that situation myself. I really would.
yeah, it's it's rough, but yeah, like it's one of the bad sides on good things, you know.
Mm.
Mhm. That's one reason why I always have had Siamese cats because technically I'm allergic to them. But Siamese, both the saliva and their dander is different,
Yeah.
and so people that are allergic to cats can have Siamese cats. It was Carl who brought in the outside cats, the
Now,
calico and the tuxedos.
wait a minute, Donna. You're saying Siamese are mutant cats?
Yes.
Probably.
So basically, they're X-Men.
Yep.
Meow. No, but like having to put Shelby in the kitchen at night, so and keeping the bedroom door shut, so she wouldn't be scratching the door, and Luz wouldn't be completely dying all night
Mhm.
long. And it's just getting worse. Like I
Yeah,
vacuum
yeah,
every time before she even arrives here and stuff like
and
that,
and
and still
and
it's yeah.
there are those in environmental air filters, and I bet they don't work worth a damn. Because my wife has a dust allergy that we've tried every
Yeah.
kind of filter or ionizer or whatever. It does not matter because we're in Georgia. Pine tree pollen
Mm-hmm.
exists. We're both gonna die. Um,
Mhm.
we've
Yeah.
got friends. We got friends that moved to Seattle to get away from Georgia pine trees.
Mhm. Yeah, Chris. Siamese are very vocal.
Mm-hmm.
but they sound like a baby crying, which was great back when I was single and I had a landline, so I picked up every time because there was no way of knowing who was on the other end. And I'd get a salesperson, and I swear that Maylene knew by the tone of my voice that's someone Mom doesn't want to talk to, so she would start meowing.
Yeah.
And the salesperson was like, "Oh, is that your baby?" I'm like, "Yes, it is. I need to go. Thanks. Bye."
Don't call back again. Don't call us. We'll call you.
Exactly.
The best salesperson, though, I ever got, we had just got our new double wide. I mean, we hadn't been in it a week. And I get this phone call. I answer it. And this lady wants to sell me siding.
For
And
a double wide?
Well, she didn't know that. And I started laughing.
I had a guy trying to sell me siding for a brick house.
I started laughing. And there was dead silence on the other end. And, ma'am, are you all right? You don't understand. My house is brand new. And she says, "Oh, I guess you won't be needing siding then." Not for a few years.
No.
But just the timing was so freaking funny.
Oh, Lord. Ah.
Landline use could be fun at times. I got a call one time and sounded like the guy I was seeing at the time. But not exactly. So I'm trying to figure out
Mhm.
if this is him or not. And he's making correct enough answers that I'm still not sure.
Huh.
So I finally said, "Well, where are we going?" Because he kept going along like he was him. Like, "Okay, so where are we going the next time we see each other?" And he says, "Well, I was thinking about dinner and a movie next time." And I'm like, "You are not Terry, because Terry is married and we do not go out in public." And he's like, "Okay." I have to admit, I was looking for a friend's phone number and I saw your name and I just had to find out what a Donna Carlene sounded like. And I'm like,
Here's a clue. She sounds like she's smarter than you are.
I don't know.
She doesn't just sound the part. She definitely is.
We were on the phone about 30 minutes. And I'm like, "Well, how do I sound?" And he's like, "Sound pretty good." Like, hung up without making a date with him, but yeah, nah.
My favorite.
Yeah, I was that woman because I figure it ain't me causing this dude to cheat. Because he's gonna cheat, so might as well be me.
No, my favorite phone salesman was calling me to sell me internet that is faster than fiber. Exactly. So I started laughing at the guy, and he was like, "Why are you laughing, sir?" I'm like, "You're trying to sell me internet. Yeah, that is faster than light. Yeah." Click. I and probably someone fell for it.
Some people do not understand that physics actually exists, and some of us understand a little bit of it.
Just enough.
Oh, you mean like my brother-in-law,
Oh boy.
who has purchased?
Go on. Don't let me stop you.
Purchased the 4-bar, was it 4-bar internet when his computer could only get 2?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's because he's got a piece of junk used computer, right?
Just because you
And
have
he's
a
dragging the Carl. I just and it's only this much, and Carl's looking at him like, it's not gonna help you, dude.
You really?
just because you have ADSL doesn't mean it helps with dial-up. If your PC only takes dial-up, you're still screwed.
Let's
Yeah,
put this
really.
Corvette transmission in a Chevette.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Yeah.
my first Pentium computer had a button that would convert it to, well, as my internet guru said to me and described it very aptly. This button converts this F-15 fighter to a Yugo. Basically, that button cut the computer down to a 286 from a Pentium.
Oh crap.
Yeah.
So my first
Why would you even?
computer,
Why did they put that button on that computer is what I want to know.
Because there are people like my brother-in-law.
well, no, because back then there were still computers that the machine was faster than the application, so you would sometimes have to slow your machine down so that application would actually run appropriately. Otherwise, that
Uh-huh.
application would run super fast, especially when it came to some of those older games, especially if you're looking at old Sierra games.
Mhm.
Play
And
those at a new computer.
basically, I went from like a 386 to a Pentium. And my friend was going, well, it might come in handy when you're trying to play some of the games that actually worked on the 386. And I'm going,
all 5 of them.
why wouldn't I just buy new games? He goes, point.
So I'm a country
Seriously?
girl.
Ah,
If
sure.
I had my druthers, my castle would be out in the country.
You're being a burnt.
But every time Carl got me this castle because it got me into town. I mean, let's face it. And every time I look longingly at a house out in the country, he looks at me and says 2 words: dial up. I'll stay in the town.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. Why would you want to move out near Keisha if you can't get a good internet connection?
Yeah. That's who he uses as the example now.
I know, and believe me, that was a wild guess on my part, but it was a good wild guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm out in the middle of nowhere. We've got fairly decent low end connection through the phone company. And I have had much worse in my time. But I've actually learned that the big difference between being able to do what I do on Stupid Clock and Last Man Standing is that the computer that I was using before is what is now genteelly referred to as a antique.
Yeah.
So I had to buy something that was a little bit more up to date, and now it's up to date as of 2.5 years ago. So it's no longer up to date. It's now the new intake. So
Well, we're so old that
good Lord, excuse me.
I can remember when You had to wait till after 5 to get on the internet because businesses got it first. You only had bulletin boards.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Mm.
And then Q-Link came along, and you could have actual chat rooms. Still couldn't see each other, but had chat rooms. And then they put.
Well, you could see each other, but it just took 8 hours for you guys to download the images.
No, there weren't any damn images to download. It was all text, believe me.
And then they took Q-Link and Apple Link and PC Link and put it all together into AOL.
Like
that
that's
was-
an improvement?
Yeah, well, hey, I was on AOL for about 10 years, but then
AOL was an improvement for a short period of time.
I wasn't paying for it, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had 10,000 of the 360-hour discs. Yeah.
no. I had a friend in Florida who had a friend in the big command, and I'm pretty sure that he was taking care of it. Mostly because he would call me up in the middle of the night and I would talk him down because he was very suicidal. And then one day he dropped off the fate of the earth and called his wife, called his business, and nobody would talk to me. And I'm like, he got it done. He had to have got it done. But nobody would confirm it. But Q-Link was fun, the chat link, because we had a writers group. And you know how inventive we writers can be.
Uh-huh.
It was called the Crossroads Cafe. So we had a bar. We had a potted plant, which became the punted plant after someone had a great typo.
A great typo, yes.
One night in there, it got a little rowdy, and we burned the place down, so we had to put in a brand new bar. Beautiful, beautiful maple bar with brass. So we go up to Michigan to stay with this friend, and there was this younger kid. Well, I say younger. Carl and I were in our 30s. Marty was in her 40s, and I think Ben was in his late 40s or 50s. And this kid, whose screen name was Riker, was only like 27.
Mm.
And we go over to his house, and he makes the mistake of saying, well, what do you older folks like to do? Carl is only 4 years older than this dude. You know? And so immediately, Carl
Liege Majesty, yes.
Carl puts his arm around Marty, and Riker knows that Carl and I are married, and we were not poly back then. Carl puts his arm around Marty. Ben puts his arm around me, and it's like, oh, well, we have
There's plenty of things.
Yeah, we have things that entertain us, and of course he's going, wait a minute, this is not right. So then we start talking about the Crossroads Cafe and how we've redecorated it. And he's like, don't we writers have good imaginations? And I'm like, you can't see it? You don't have the new software? And we had him believing that we had software that we could actually go in with avatars and be in a 3D thing of the Crossroads Cafe.
A 3D environment, yeah.
Wow.
And he's like, how do I get that? And I'm like, we were like, if they haven't offered it to you, you can't get it. Sorry.
It's a closed beta.
It's exclusive. It's a gated community.
Oh God.
But yeah.
Sorry, this is for older people.
You do not want to
You've got to
tick
be
off.
this old to ride this ride.
You don't want to tick off riders because we know how to screw with your mind.
Hmm. Now, in that same vein, I spent a good 6 or 8 hours today in a IRC chat with
Oh yeah.
the Larry Niven mailing list. Larry was there. We all wished him a very belated happy birthday because his birthday was last week when our regular chat was not scheduled, and went on the conversations as always. Um, if no, seriously, if you look up topic drift in the Urban Dictionary, it references the Larry Niven mailing list as the very definition of topic drifting. You can start off talking about, hey, I really love the latest novel, and wind up within 15 seconds talking about the mating habits of feline aliens, and then go on to uh,
Or something like this place.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, like this but on steroids. Um, I mean, no, it's more like the green room, but in text without
Without
with
hashtags.
without the hashtags and the double. Well, no, I can't say without the double entendre because
I was going to say you were there.
I was there. Yes, um, I'm usually there, and we only do this chat once a month, first Saturday of every month, and it's always been fun. Larry usually graces us with his presence. When Jerry Purnell was alive, he would pop in occasionally. Ed Lerner would pop in occasionally. He's one of Larry's co-authors. Uh, Stephen Barnes, I think, showed up maybe once or twice, who's another one of Larry and Jerry's co-authors. Um, and we have actually come up with concepts that gave Larry ideas for brand new novels. And he gave us credit. I mean, this is because the chat room came up with this shit and I had to write it. I mean, seriously, it was a challenge accepted. Um, but it's one of those things that's gone on. I think I first came into the mailing list in the chat room about 1995.
I was 2 years old.
It's been going ever since.
It's a good thing I love you, sweetie.
Look, I'm a 93 kid. I'm turning 30 in 3 months.
Oh,
I had children older than you.
my sweet summer child, I have T-shirts older than you.
I was going to say, I think I got a bra older than him.
I've got T-shirts older than Richie.
Oh dear.
Now I don't have any clothing. Well, I do have clothing older than Donna, but I was a steampunk for a long time, and I bought period stuff.
Older than me? Honey, I'm older than you.
Yes, I know. That's why I said
Okay.
I
That you
I,
don't
I
have any.
do I do actually have clothing older than I have clothing older than Nixon. I have clothing older than. Oh shit! Lindsay's got a blouse that's older than Queen Victoria.
Damn.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, this is a certified antique.
Ugh.
And she she
Now, those
she
really
will not
don't
wear it
count,
anymore
though.
because it's very, very fragile today.
Those don't really count. It's got to be clothing that you would wear in everyday life.
Oh, everyday life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still in the closet somewhere.
I actually have stuff that I inherited from my dad, so yes, it's definitely older than Donna.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Um,
I have a I have a sweater that I inherited from my foster brother when his wife put it at a rummage sale. I think I was like 10 or 11 years old at the time, and I'm still wearing it. So that sweater is over 50 years old.
I have one suit that I think my dad wore taking my mom on a date before they got married. So it's
Oh,
pre 1957. Um, it should be about 54 or thereabouts. I can't wear it because I'm too fat, but
You got it.
it's in my closet. I mean, it's part of the family history. Um, oh Lord. Oh God, that reminds me. We've got this thing that we've got to go to in middle of next month to honor my little brother because he's become a high muckety muck in his um, for want
Eastern
of a
Star.
yeah
Masonic
Eastern
order.
Star, like I said, some Masonic thing, and I've got to figure out what suit I got that I can still fit into now that I'm 50 pounds heavier, thanks to my
Is it?
wife's wonderful cooking. Not that I
And
blame her. I ate every bite. You know, I deserve being fat because I'm fat, dumb, and happy. That's the way a wife wants a man.
oh,
So
that's why Carl's so skinny. Right?
you don't cook.
No,
He's
no,
the
no.
only
Don't
person
worry.
I know
Don't
that
worry.
lost weight during COVID.
Wow. Then again, I mean, Luz keeps trying for me as well. Like, I can look at my dad and go, he's 5 kilos more than I now after 23 years ahead of me. And my stepmom keeps trying too. Luz keeps trying too. And they make amazing food and we eat whatever we want. Nothing.
You
Skin and bone.
exercise heavily though as your day
You're
job,
only
don't you?
No, no,
30
not
too.
anymore. I'm now a warehouse worker. So I'm an order picker.
You're also only 30 so far.
Not even.
Mhm.
Not even.
3 more months.
I had a brother like you, and then he hit 40 or 45, and he
Well,
chunked up real good.
the
And
thing
he was still
is,
very active because he was a millwright. He was
if
also a
you
drunk, but he was a millwright.
Mm,
if you get used to an active lifestyle and then you wind up in what amounts to a desk job
yeah.
and you don't
Hmm.
get the same exercise anymore. Because, I mean, seriously, on the farm, 128 pounds,
Yeah.
that was me. It didn't matter whether I was 16 or 22. And then I ran away from the farm and joined a college. And, and then I got a job in the factory and I was doing 12 hours a day of what amounted to aerobics and getting paid $20 an hour. And I managed to keep the weight off. And when I got a more sedentary job, And Lindsay and I got together, and she's a good cook, and I don't be as active as I swear, walking 10 miles a day does not reduce the weight gain from having a British wife who knows how to cook.
Yep.
This
Yeah.
is one of those things where I just go, I could have swore I fit in that shirt 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm that wife who the best thing I can make is reservations.
Not a bad thing.
No,
Not a bad thing
definitely
at
not.
all. A little expensive, but not a bad thing at all.
Actually, at first, Carl was a little hesitant about taking me to like the steakhouse or something, but I always made at least 2 meals out of whatever I had, and when he got to figuring the cost, actually, he's like, okay, it doesn't cost me that much to take her out to a place like this. See, you eat the salad because, as Mike Jimmy probably knows, we have salad first over here.
Mm-hmm.
You eat your sides because they're not going to reheat very good. You taste the entree to make sure it's okay, and then you take that home, and you've got another whole meal,
Hmm. If not two.
if
Yeah.
not two.
Yeah.
And suddenly, you're not paying $40 or $50 for a meal. You're only paying maybe $20 for a meal. Oh, wait a minute, there's that third meal.
Only $12 for a meal.
Mm-hmm.
And the other three are free. Yeah, there are a couple of things that Lindsay discovered that she prefers my version of a meal over her version of a meal. Now, it doesn't mean that she will not cook it herself, but she likes mine better. She doesn't demand that I do that, but she's very happy when I
Oh.
do.
That is lose her cooking for her birthday. That is an entire Indian rice table.
I started to say, it looks like a smorgasbord to me.
Yeah, no, like there was so much food.
It looked like there was enough for like 15 people.
Yeah, we were with 8.
Okay, yeah, well,
Life was good.
seriously.
And then there's chips.
And then there's shit. With 6 you get egg roll. Oh wait, that was a movie.
It's a funny
No,
movie.
seriously, it was a movie. It was a comedy.
Mm-hmm. Brian, Keith, and Doris Day, if I remember correctly.
I believe you are correct. I was trying to remember their names, and you got there a whole lot quicker than I did.
I love Doris Day movies.
Doris Day's
Even if she was a blonde.
she was a really nice lady. From all reputation, she was a really nice lady. Some people might have had problems with her, but everybody she was in a movie with thought she was fantastic.
There is a very old popular song about television here in the Netherlands. It's a Dutch song where Doris Day actually gets mentioned as well because it's the only thing that's on out of the 2 television channels we had at the time. And
Yeah.
that is literally the only way I know that actor.
Oh yeah.
Was a tad before your time.
His parents were embryos.
Yeah.
Not
No.
quite.
My
Not
dad
quite.
was from 71. My mom was from 70. So, yeah, they were
Um,
young.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Doris Day was from the 50s, dude.
Yeah. Mostly.
Fair enough. They were still concepts.
No, wait a minute. Her sitcoms was in the 60s.
Yeah. And that made me think of Dinah Shore, who was not only a movie star and a singer, but had a talk show in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, that woman is beautiful. I mean, seriously, as a 5-year-old in 1963, I'm going, and that was before I discovered Betty Page. Not long, but still before. Oh. Life has a way of throwing you curves, and if you're
And when
smart,
it
you
comes to
go,
Betty Page, it's all curves.
oh. As Wolfman Jack said, if you got the curves, baby, I got the angles.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
dear. Oh dear.
No. Thank the Guess Who for that reference because they actually got Wolfman Jack to ad lib during a song that they called "Clap for the
For the
Wolfman." He
Wolfman.
gonna rate your record high.
Yep. I know that one.
If you have not heard it, it's worth a listen. Uh,
And these young chaps here are going, who's the Guess Who?
well, at least they're not going. Who's the Who? And I mean, 10 years difference and no difference in creativity, just direction. Burton Cummings is one of the finest songwriters, I believe, has graced the 20th and 21st century. He's done some amazing stuff worthy of being compared to his contemporaries who worked in different genres, but dude can write some songs and sing really well too, as well as perform on several different instruments, piano, flute, um, all kind of things. Um, Actually, he went out and bought a flute because I think he played clarinet in high school band, and somebody told him the fingering was just the same. And the Guess Who was performing, and he's going, "Okay, let me have one of them." And took it home, fiddled around with it for a little while, took it on stage, and used it in a major top 10 hit.
Yeah, I got a thing for saxophone players.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, Carl used to play one.
It helps.
That tonguing technique comes in handy if y'all know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, I know how to play a saxophone. Your tongue ain't involved. It's it's holding your mouth perfectly still and blowing gently like a $500 a night hooker.
You can debate that with Mr. Carl. He told
Yeah.
me it was a tonguing technique.
Well, you did have to punctuate notes with your tongue, but
Rich, I think we need to pull up the card.
actually, no, that was pretty innocent. Actually,
I know.
actually, that was
I know.
actually
We were talking
This is
music. I don't know
preventive.
what you guys were thinking about.
Oh dear. It's too
Friday
early for
night-
this. Look,
Friday
it's
night in the
8:40
green
the
room?
morning.
Oh no!
I don't think anybody knew that Aunt Donna was a little high. You thought I was drinking. Was I drinking can of ginger ale or was I drinking Sprite from the can?
I thought it was schnapps.
No, not Friday
Oh,
night.
the can.
Friday night. Okay.
Schnapps was Saturday.
Okay.
But I was doing a little trick my hubby taught me. Every time I would go down a little bit, I was putting in a little more Fireball. And then people were going, well, especially one certain person, like, that's a hashtag. And I'm like, where? If you hear a hashtag, you write it down.
Really, I got better shit to do. Yeah, that and that's unfortunate because some folks think they come out with a really good think somebody came out with a really sparkling witticism, and they want you to write it down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yes, it is traditional for you to listen for all the sparkling witticisms, but you don't
got
get
10
paid
for
for that.
Friday.
You don't get paid for that shit. So,
Nope.
oh,
Yeah. And I had to break the news to Joe Dog that I can't play with him anymore because I shared too many fart videos.
he was so heartbroken. He went out and bought a special burrito just for to assuage his heartbreak.
I had, what, 3 or 4 of them in a row? And Carl left his office and came across the castle to mine and was like, you can't play with Joe Dog anymore. I don't know why. I'm not the one who found them. I just put them on. It was somebody else's who is DMing me with these videos. And I'm going, yeah, that's a share. That's a share.
Well, thankfully, he didn't rule out anybody else you can play with. Oh, that grin.
You have been given the go ahead. Understood.
We'll have to take the thought for the deed. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You still kiss good.
I've been
It's the
trained.
beard.
I've been trained. No, it's not the beard. It's the training.
There's those soft lips. Ooh.
That's good manners right there.
Yeah, I'm still laughing at the fact that Luz was starting to get jealous over you flirting with me, Donna. And I'm later going, sweetheart, there is no competition here. Like, she knows her place. No worries.
Me?
Yeah, no.
My place is in your arms, baby. Oh, no. Okay.
Not helping. Hilarious, though.
I can't help it.
The correct way to say that is she respects us and would not try and come between us.
Exactly.
Never.
She is having fun
Yeah.
flirting in a harmless way.
I can't help myself.
No,
You see,
and that's the thing. Neither can I.
This is why. Oh, Donna, finish that thought for me because I can't think my way out of that particular enclosure.
And I've got a husband who's the same way. He can't help it.
No.
Fortunately, the second wife is more understanding than the first one was.
Like that's something that I'm explaining to her too. Like, yeah, I like flirting around. I have fun. I give compliments, and if you can't handle that, well, sorry. It's not like I'm
Okay.
gonna do anything with it.
Potential solution. Bring her to Hallowcon. We'll flirt with her.
This will probably happen.
Probably.
I know how great she is.
I started to say, have you met me? But no, you haven't yet. But
I've seen enough, thank you.
my reputation exceeds me.
I was going to say, we get Richie down there. We get Richie and Dan and Carl around her, and she won't know what happened.
No.
The police report will probably have something to do with figuring it out.
She used to work in the Navy. She's used to things. She spent 2 months on a boat with only guys. She's fine.
She hasn't spent 2 minutes at Hallowcon with us.
No, the difference is 50 years of experience. I mean, fair enough. At that time, I mean, she's in her 30s now, but like way back then, she was like 18, 20. I mean, fair enough.
I'll see you 30 and raise you 65.
Exactly.
I have to watch myself because there are people who have
rewatch this in the morning.
No. There have been people in my life that actually thought I was attempting to be seductive when I was actually just trying to be humorous.
Yeah. I'm like.
There's one kind of flirting, and then there's
seduction.
The serious kind, which kind of goes beyond the pale.
Like, being complimentary isn't automatically flirty, but a lot of people misunderstand that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like giving out compliments. I like making people feel good about themselves. That being said, apparently that is flirty to a lot of people, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Somebody's definitions need to be tightened up a bit.
No. People aren't used to getting compliments.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
like
well,
that
I can see that. I can see that.
Like, with like a couple of workplaces that I've been in, like a compliment was hard to get, right? And then at my last job, being a mover, like, yeah, we were all sticking out for one another. It happens together or it doesn't happen at all. And this job too, like, yeah, you're doing a good job. Like, it's not going to be higher math on what you're doing, but as long as you're doing what you're doing, you're doing a good job. You're doing your job.
Well, and there's a level of compliments that go from innocent to beyond flirting. I mean, I can go up to one of the ladies at work and go, oh, your hair looks really nice today.
Yeah.
But there's no excuse for me going, oh, you got a nice ass.
No, because that
That
is
goes too
crossing a
far.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's no longer flirty either.
Oh, it's
That is
still
just
flirting.
catcalling.
It's just inappropriate flirting.
It's catcalling.
No, it's not catcall. It's not trying to pick her up.
Yeah.
It's another compliment, but it's too much of a compliment. It's an
Yeah.
inappropriate compliment. There are various shades of gray,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them are a bit
50
too
maybe?
dark. Excuse me.
50 maybe?
Mm.
Sometimes another 50. But then again, we're not going to talk about, sexual abuse because that's what the book is.
Yeah.
When
Safe word
when
is a
it
safe word
comes
for a
to
reason.
when it comes to degrees of flirting, it's an infinite scale. When it comes
Yeah.
to that book, it's something else.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what that something else is fan fiction that got published.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And believe me, my next door neighbor is a sexologist, and she read the book and she goes, "This is so vanilla, it's boring."
That's what Michaela said too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's like this is a virgin's idea of what kinky sex is.
Yeah.
Michaela said about the only thing she got right in there was the contract.
Mm.
Mm. Well,
Fair
not
enough.
having
I'm
read
like,
it and taking the expert witness's testimony at face value, I would not know. But
Mm.
um,
didn't read it, didn't want to read it, don't want to
No.
read it.
this is the people that thought Barbara Cartland romance novels were too hot. Their idea of, oh, this is too hot, I've got to buy a copy.
Yeah.
No. And speaking as someone whose idea of spicy is set up the situation, draw the curtain, scene change to the next day. You know
Mm.
that my sensual writing is very 1950s because that's what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
You know, okay, we know people get up to whatever they want to get up to, but it doesn't advance the story.
Yeah.
It's icing. And sometimes there's too much icing. So, let's just go, here it is. They're interested. Let's draw the curtain and move on to the
Hi,
next action scene where
am I
there's
forgiven?
explosions and gunfire and shit.
Michael Bay.
Well, no, lens flare, no lens flare.
Am I forgiven?
Thank you. I'm epileptic.
Well, believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, that's how my scenes go. But when I wrote The Seduction of Lily Monroe and Woodstock, you know how it is, Dan? You got to put down what those voices in your head are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know
And
exactly.
sometimes,
I know exactly. And sometimes the voices in your head tell you things that go, I'm going to have to take a cold shower after this one. Let me end the paragraph.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now and I absolutely love Michaela's stuff, and I'm sitting there, I'm reading it, and I'm going,
Ooh.
I would not ever go that far in the descriptive part
Yeah.
of it. But Michaela does it so well that you just
It slides right
you're
in there. And, oh, that's what she said. Damn, did I say that?
I was about to say it complements the story rather than
It adds, it
draws
doesn't
away
take
from
away.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that I really admire about her talent is she knows how to complement the story and the romance and the intimacy between couples, and
Yeah.
then draw the curtain. I draw the curtain too soon for her uh,
Yeah.
level of writing. Uh, and there's nothing wrong with either version, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I write the Arthur C. Clarke version of sex scenes. It's like, oh well, and then they went into his cabin and closed the door. Um,
Done.
you know,
Fine.
you
Yeah.
know what's going on. You just don't have to visualize. Well, you do visualize it if you're a teenage boy, but you don't have a written record of everything except the taste. Um,
Mhm.
Well, that's like when we wrote Woodstock Dreams. I wrote it with Carl and another writer, and we each took a character, and Carl and Michelle's characters, well, the three of them met at Woodstock, the original one. The other two characters grew up. Madame Starlight never grew out of the 60s idea of free love and being a free spirit. I mean, he ended up living in Greenwich Village in New York, being a medium. Uh, doesn't know what a piece of underwear is. And every time she was married, she didn't screw around. But then again, sex with friends is not screwing around on your husband, especially when your husband's doing the same thing. Okay, she's
yeah,
right there.
that
So
was a time before open relationships were defined. It was just, hey, that's the way it was.
25 years later, she's the same. She's the same as when she was that
Yeah.
20-year-old, 19, 20-year-old that she was in 67. She's the same person. She's got the same feelings towards sex. She's right out there with it. So in the book, it's right out there.
It's in character, though.
It's in character. And yeah. And the shower scene, this is so funny because I kept telling Carl we need to publish this, and he's like, we've got to get her okay, and I'm like, I've got her okay because she went on to write romance stories, and we made a bargain. She borrowed my shower scene word for word to put in her one book, and I told her she could do that if someday I could publish Woodstock Dreams. And he didn't believe me, so I emailed her and said, I want to publish this. Carl says we don't have your permission. And she emailed back. She says, I gave you permission years ago. And I showed him the email publishing it this year.
And we are 30 seconds into our last minute, and I feel really bad because Richie hasn't said a word for 45 minutes.
Just about.
I've said a few words in here.
I know you have, but you've been busy doing other stuff too.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that I am ungrateful for your presence, because I am always grateful for your presence, because basically if I think of something, you think of something, and I see you go, "Oh my god." Yeah, Richie and I have this mental connection that probably has to do with my experience on being the editor and the senior editor and publisher of Aphelion, and his having discovered Aphelion and go, this has some potential here. I like this. And then again, there are obvious parallels between our offline lives that, you know, we were both uh, bullied from time to time and overcame same through humor, and rarely um, anything other than that. But the potential was still there to go off, and people sometimes go, "We didn't expect that." Okay.
It is raining like crazy, and I think I just heard some thunder. April's 9-year-old is a Cub Scout, and he and Dad are on a camping trip with the Cub Scouts this weekend.
Oh dear.
They
And
they,
they're
they
getting
do a rainproof tent, rainproof, snowproof. Yep, there's thunder. Lightning's a different thing. So sounds like they're going to be spending the rest of the night in the truck.
Ooh, well, I started to say, if you don't have the tent set up someplace where the water drains away, you can
Mhm.
wind up in the tent sleeping in a puddle.
I did
Um,
that one time.
I've done that a few
There's
times.
yeah.
Yep, there was
Not
not the
lightning.
green room, not the green room, not the green room.
No, I used to dance. We uh, we were performing at the Illinois State Fair, and not only my mom but some neighbors came along. So we rented one of those big tents that sleep 8. And then my foster brother came along, and he had to sleep in the back of the station wagon pulled in under the tent, while the rest of us slept in cots. And he was the only one that did not have puddles of rain around where he was sleeping. That he had,
Mm,
yeah.
there was one vacation that my parents took. We drove to a lake shore and set up the tent, and everything was fine for the first day. The second day, it started raining, and it kept raining, and it kept,
Uh-huh.
and Dad had us get out of the tent, moved it up the hill about 8 feet, and then dug a trench around the tent,
Uh-huh.
and still it kept raining. And by the Sunday morning, my mom looked at where the tent was originally placed, and that spot was now underwater.
Yep, not surprised.
Now, this is in East Tennessee on a lake created by a hydroelectric dam, but this was a ginormous rainstorm. So basically, we kept moving the tent further and further up the hill to keep the tent out from under the water, and it was still a great time. It was still a great time. It was still a very wonderful uh, family outing. Dad had to keep mooring the boat further and further up the hill every time we moved the tent because the lake level kept rising, and he didn't want to have to wade out in the middle of the water to get to the boat. Um, so we had the truck, we had the tent, we had the boat. This was a very complex family vacation because we had the two vehicles and the campground, but there were not there was nothing to complain about other than having to evacuate the tent, take it down, set it up higher, and dig trenches around it so the water would run out. It was just we happened to pick a weekend that it rained an awful lot.
Yeah, like
But
it
yeah,
happens.
it was still fun. We went out fishing in the boat, came back, cooked the fish we caught. There was stuff that was in the ice chest that we cooked as well. I mean, it was basically if we were not successful fishing, there were always hamburgers and hot dogs. You know, the
Yeah,
Coleman stove was a perfect way to cook whatever happened, and it was great. It was a very nice family thing. I don't know if I don't know if my little brother had even been born at the time, but I know my sister was there. So if my brother hadn't been born, it was before 65 or thereabouts.
I don't know where they're set up. There used to be a Boy Scout camp out west of town. I don't know if that's still there or if they're just out in Kickapoo, which is one of the state parks. But yeah, it's getting pretty nasty out there.
Mm.
Okay, I actually have to hop because I have a girlfriend that really wants to talk to me about something. So, yeah,
Well,
there's
It's time to
we're
say goodnight anyway.
yeah.
we're 10 minutes over the 2 hour limit, so hey, it's all right. It's all right.
It's less than normal.
Anybody that doesn't want to go home, you don't have to. I just have to play the bedtime story and shut the program down. Otherwise, Joe Dog will pop in and go, "Again, Dan, are you awake yet?" So
Yeah, I do need to pass out. Unfortunately, I have been nodding here a little bit too. So
Yeah, it's been a long emotional day.
Yep. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Thanks for helping me
It's
unwind.
fine. Thank you all for being here.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you, Chris, for your comments. I just want to say that for the past few years of doing this, I couldn't think of a better bunch to wind up my Saturday nights with, Sunday mornings with. So I salute you.
Right back at
Offhandedly,
you.
but and
I can, but the Swedish bikini team will refuse to, or still refuses to return my phone calls.
yes, and they've got that nasty little restraining order too.
He was miles ahead of you, and you just made it worse, Rich. So that's why. He got
Good night,
first,
everybody.
okay?
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Let's go to the party.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down.
Woohoo! Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.